Hello. The XDM server technology is complex and is based on many ingredients that altogether establish the XDM server infrastructure. As such, the operation of the XDM server is not bulletproof, as foreseen influences can impact the XDM server. In this video, I would like to get you familiar with the tools that you have to triage issues that might arise. Our agenda will start with the common points of failure. We will review all the available utilities for triage and the diagnostics that the XDM server provides. We will also review the anatomy of the log files in case you want to have a deeper insight into a problem. We will then discuss triage strategy during deployment and runtime. Finally, we will show an example of such a triage session. What can go wrong? The following are the most common points of failure during the deployment of the XDM server or during the update process that have been seen thus far. Resources might be inaccessible or has improper configuration. Directories and files might not have the required access permission. Another failure could be with the XDM server configurator while migrating data of XDM design or XDM library, for example. There are also unexpected environment influences, perhaps within the XDM server host machine, that may not have been accounted for within our pretest or server monitoring. And of course, there is always an option for a software defect. Let's review some of the operational failures that the XDM server might have. Failed resources access, like Oracle Server. Power outage and failure of resource startup. Host machine memory or XDM server threads depleted. Unplanned growth in the XDM server client access might overload the server. Environmental change, and again, there might be a software defect. The Monitoring and Diagnostics Service, MGC-MDS, is built into the XDM server infrastructure, and it has a role of a watchdog that ensures the integrity of the infrastructure. It monitors the XDM server processes, and it will automatically restart them upon failure if possible. If at any point a given process cannot be restarted, MGC-MDS will shut down the whole XDM server as it is deemed to be in an improper state. MGC-MDS also controls the alert monitoring process. Another diagnostics tool is the Alert Monitor. This is a key XDM server resource that monitors many XDM server conditions, and if any of those is detected, it will send an immediate notification email to the administrator or to a distribution list. There are a handful of diagnostics utilities available for you. The primary ones are the Diag Troubleshooter and the Diag Collect Logs, but the most recommended one for you to use is the Diag Dashboard. The Diagnostic Dashboard consolidates the functionality and the usage of mostly all other diagnostics utilities into a central user interface. The Diagnostic Dashboard is your gate to manage the XDM server and triage issues. We will return to the Diagnostics Dashboard shortly. In VX.2, we consolidated all the log files to be located in a single directory. You can control the location of this directory on the Configuration Manager under XDM Server Directories, Log Directory. Here you will find the Logs directory, which will contain all the active logs and also logs that are not active but are still less than 30 days old. In parallel to the Logs directory, you will find the Log Archives directory that stores non-active logs based on our retention policy that moves log files that are older than 30 days to this archive. After 90 days in the archive, those old log files will be deleted. On the Configuration Manager, you also have the option to modify the log level. Please note that if you modify only the XDM server log level, you can apply the change without restarting the server. You should modify the log level if you need to collect more information in order to help further investigating a problem. During the deployment process, our triage strategy will be the following. Review the pre-deployment test results. Errors might block you from continuing with the deployment, but if you choose to ignore warnings, remember that those could be a clue for future issues. For example, a warning about disk space. If the deployment failed, carefully review the error messages, as those will provide valuable information about a problem so that hopefully you could fix it and continue with the deployment. Advanced users might want to use the diagnostic dashboard, and under the Dashboard tab, look for the log scanner. The log scanner will provide a list of all the log files that has errors in them. With few clicks, you can see the errors and even open the full log file. During runtime, the Diagnostics dashboard provides much more information. You can see the current status as well as the configuration of the XDM server. Here you have a list of all the XDM server events, and at the bottom we present the same information on a timeline graph. Potential problems will be indicated on the Diagnostics dashboard so that you can further investigate those issues. At the top of the log scanner that we already demoed, you have the option to launch the troubleshooter. This utility will scan the logs, trying to match an actual error within a known issues database. If there is a match, you will get a resolution of the problem and even a possible solution to hopefully fix it. Last, if you need to collect all the logs and share them with our support team, you can use the log drop-down menu and select what will be collected and whether sensitive data will be masked or not. Since the environment has a major impact on the XDM server and might cause a failure of the XDM server, when there is an issue, we would like to investigate the status of the environment as well. Diag Collect Logs collects valuable information from the environment, which one can read through and maybe indicate issues. Here is an example. I got an indication that the XDM server is down. The Diagnostics dashboard reflects similar information, and so I decide to run the troubleshooter. The results point to a problem with the Oracle user, and I understand that I need to verify that the username and password combination is still valid. Once I fix that, I restart the XDM server and the problem is solved. Triage a problem is not an easy task. In this video, we reviewed common points of failure and the utilities that are provided for you to triage issues. We presented the anatomy of the XDM server logs and discussed deployment and runtime triage strategies. Eventually, we provided an example.